Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're stripping away all the noise to completely reframe how you think about losing belly fat. Seriously, if you're totally exhausted by complex workout apps, exotic superfoods, and those crazy 4 a.m. alarm clocks that just leave you burned out by day 14, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to dive right into the unglamorous, highly repetitive truth behind actually getting lean. All right, let's look at our roadmap for today. We're covering the fitness entertainment trap, the copy-paste breakfast, post-meal pacing, setting a step floor, the hormonal blackout, and finally, how to survive the infamous week 3 trap. We're going to uncover the science-backed, repetitive habits your biology actually responds to. So part 1, the fitness entertainment trap and why novelty fails. Let's start by dismantling this whole fitness circus that's been keeping you stuck in a loop of failure. The industry has basically trained us to believe weight loss should be this exciting, dramatic event. But here's the secret no one selling a program wants you to know. Fat loss is absolutely not an entertainment product. We've been treating fat loss like a dopamine hit, right? You start a complex new diet, your brain gets a rush, and you're hooked on the thrill of 30-day challenges or extreme workouts. But honestly, your metabolism absolutely hates chaos. Biological processes do not care about novelty or motivation or the latest superfood. They demand boring, unsexy predictability and repetitive behaviors. Think about it. When you throw chaotic variables at your body, like starving yourself one day, crushing intense workouts the next, or sleeping 5 hours instead of 9, your nervous system literally registers that as a threat. And what does it do? It pumps out cortisol. That's your body's stress alarm. When cortisol is chronically high, it's incredibly hard to release fat, especially around the abdomen. Your body thinks it's in danger and holds on to that energy for dear life. To override that alarm, you have to make your environment entirely predictable. Which brings us to part 2. Habit number 1, the copy-paste breakfast, and how to automate your morning. Let's see how building a predictable morning sets the stage for your entire day. Most people just kind of let their morning happen to them. They skip breakfast, grab a random bagel at 10 a.m. when they're starving, maybe fast the next day, and that right there is the exact definition of metabolic chaos. The absolutely crucial move here is hitting a target of 30 to 40 grams of protein every single morning. You gotta think of your willpower like a battery. It naturally drains as the day goes on. If you're forcing yourself to make dietary choices while you're rushing out the door, you're depleting that battery before your day even really starts. So, the fix? Automate the morning with some brutally boring breakfast options. Pick just one. Maybe it's Greek yogurt with berries, 4 scrambled eggs with spinach, or just a really high-quality protein shake. By committing to the exact same meal every single day, you completely eliminate decision fatigue. You just copy and paste it right into your routine. No thinking required. And the underlying science here is just incredible. Hitting your system with a massive dose of protein first thing in the morning suppresses ghrelin for hours. Ghrelin is your body's primary hunger hormone, so automating that morning protein effectively kills the hunger curve. It guarantees you won't get those aggressive afternoon cravings, and you absolutely won't be standing in front of the pantry at 9 p.m. hunting for chips. Moving right along to part 3, habit number 2, post-meal pacing and flattening the blood sugar curve. With our mornings locked in, let's explore this super underrated tool that changes how your body stores the food you just ate. Now, the fitness industry really wants you to believe you need an hour on the Stairmaster to see results. But this habit, it requires 0 gym time. To understand why this works so well, we have to talk about insulin. When you eat a big meal, your blood sugar rises, and your body pumps out insulin to clear it. Insulin is basically a storage hormone, and while it's elevated, fat burning is completely shut off. The real danger is sitting on the couch right after a big lunch or dinner. Your inactive muscles don't need that sugar, so this storage hormone happily converts all that excess energy straight into fat. But if you use this biological cheat code, everything changes. Here's what you do. Eat your heaviest meal, lunch or dinner, doesn't matter. Then, do not sit down. Immediately walk outside for just 10 minutes. When you do this, your leg muscles demand fuel. They act like a massive sponge, soaking up that sugar before it even gets stored. Insulin drops back to baseline in half the time, and boom, you flip back into a fat-burning state hours sooner. It's literally 0 sweat, but it packs a massive biological impact. Okay, part 4, habit number 3, the step floor, the ultimate fat loss tool. So you've flattened your blood sugar, but how do we actually burn fat without totally destroying our nervous system? Well, that brings us to a habit that is the exact opposite of what most people do when they're trying to get in shape. It turns out that doing miserable, extreme cardio, like endless burpees until you feel sick, is actually a huge trap. High-intensity cardio mostly just burns stored sugar during the workout. Plus, it spikes your appetite and drives up those stress hormones we were talking about earlier. Walking, on the other hand, is purely effective. It pulls energy straight from your fat stores, and it does it without crossing the threshold that triggers an extreme hunger tax or nervous system fatigue. It auto-regulates your body beautifully. The key here is to set a rigid floor of 8 to 10,000 steps a day. Notice I said a floor, not a goal. You have to make it an absolute daily law. I know, it's unglamorous, you're not going to feel like a hardcore athlete, but 45 minutes of walking while listening to a podcast, that burns pure fat. Stick to this rigid floor and you'll literally watch the tire around your waist slowly vanish. Next up, part 5, habit number 4, the hormonal blackout, your master switch. Listen, you can nail the first 3 habits perfectly, the breakfast, the post-meal walk, the steps, all of it. But if you skip this final habit, your body is going to fight you every single step of the way. This right here is the master switch that controls everything else. Your body fundamentally runs on a circadian rhythm. If you go to bed at 10 p.m. on Tuesday, midnight on Thursday, and 2 a.m. on Saturday, you're essentially giving yourself metabolic jet lag on a continuous loop. This erratic schedule signals to your brain that your environment is unstable. Even worse, it crashes leptin. That's the fullness hormone that tells your brain you're satisfied. When leptin crashes and ghrelin spikes because of sleep deprivation, you biochemically program yourself to crave junk food. You are fighting a war you just cannot win. The solution is incredibly simple, but man, it requires discipline. Automate your sleep, and you automate your fat loss. You have to pick a boring bedtime and wake time and stick to it 7 days a week. Lights out, exact same time. Once your rhythm finally locks in, your body trusts the schedule, it turns off the stress alarms, and it finally stops defending those fat stores. All right, part 6, surviving the week 3 trap, the filter. So now you've got the 4 habits, but before you run out and execute this playbook, we really need to talk about why super smart people still sabotage themselves using these exact methods. When you look at a typical timeline, it's obvious how the fitness industry brainwashed us to want muscle confusion, this idea that you always need to shock your body. Because of that, week 1 feels amazing. You get a huge dopamine rush. By week 2, maybe things stall a bit. And then right around week 3, the unsexy grind sets in. You feel bored. And you'll probably start looking for a shiny new program to give you that day 1 dopamine hit all over again. The most crucial point to remember here is this. When the routine feels repetitive and unsexy, that is the exact moment the work is actually happening. Boredom isn't a sign of failure, folks. It's a filter. It separates the people who just want to be entertained from the people who actually want results. It is the moment you stop relying on fickle motivation and finally lean on relentless discipline. Your body doesn't need to be confused. It needs to be commanded. And that brings us to the complete playbook. Number 1. Automate the morning with a 30 to 40 gram copy-paste breakfast to kill your hunger curve. Number 2, take a 10-minute walk right after your heaviest meal to drop insulin. Number 3, hit a rigid 8 to 10,000 step floor every single day. And number 4, maintain a strict 7-day sleep schedule to crush those stress hormones. I promise you, the leanest person you know isn't using secret biohacks or getting yelled at by intense instructors. They're just executing this relentless, boring consistency day in and day out. The biology is crystal clear. And the facts are all right here. The only question left is, will you embrace relentless, boring consistency or keep chasing the next exciting 30-day program that we all know won't work? The choice is entirely yours. Are you ready to finally abandon the fitness circus and just let your biology do the work? Think about it. Thanks for joining this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.